Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots. Goshō. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots, Namanda Boots. Hello, and welcome once again to the Tri-State Denver Buddhist Temple's YouTube channel. This is the service for November 28th, 2021. And this week is a special combination service. We'll be celebrating both the November Shotsuki service as well as the 2021 Eitaikyo service. The Eitaikyo service, or perpetual sutra chanting or perpetual memorial service, is a service celebrated once a year to remember all those that have come before us within Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Service order for this special service will be Sanbujo. You can find Sanbujo on page 35 in the Blue Denver Service Book. Following Sanbujo, we'll have chanting of Juseige. Find Juseige on page 57 in the Blue Denver Service Book. After chanting, we'll be reading the November 2021 Shotsuki names. If you have a loved one on this Shotsuki list, be sure to oshoko at your home obutsudan, or keep them in your mind and say Namo Amida Butsu. Following that, we'll be having a reading of the Ryogemon in Japanese, which you can find in the description below, following the translation for the Ryogemon, the Creed, which is on page 103 in the Blue Denver Service Book. We'll then have a Dharma talk in English. This time we're going to be talking about Eitaikyo, memorial services, and Clams. I wonder how those things go together. Please watch and find out. Once again, thank you for joining us here at the Tri-State Denver Buddhist Temple. And remember, some interesting things are happening in the news right now. So Douglas County, Jefferson County, Arapahoe County, and Denver County are all reinstating the mask mandate in order to help protect us all from COVID-19. So please wear your mask when you're out and protect all those who are weaker than yourself. And it's almost December, so make sure that you put a smile on your face and try to make everybody as happy as you possibly can. And always have the Nembutsu on your lips. Namo Amida Boots. Bunjo minna nyorai Shanti. Gagon chosengan hishimu jodo shingan fumanzok seifu joshongak gaho muyoko fui dai zasshu fusai shobingu seifu joshongak gashi jobundo myosho chojipo kukyo mishomon seifu joshongak ryokujin shonen joe shubongyo shigu mujodo isho tenin shi jinriki endai ko fusho musaido shoujo san kumyo kosai shuyakunan kaihi chiegen meshi konmoan esoku shoakudo tsunan zenshumon koso jomanzok iyodo jipo nichigan chujuki tenko honpugen ishu kai hozo kosei kudoku ho Jodai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Bun Gusoku Shutoku Hon Gane Shinjoman Tokui Sangai yo Nyomun Mugechi Tsudan Mifusho Gagaku Erik Toshi Saisho Son Shigan Yakoka Daisen no Kondo Kokusho Tenin Touchin Myoke Namandabu 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 Ganishikudoku Byodo Sehisai Dohon Monai Isshin Ojo Ra Ko. Goshō. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namanda Boots. Namanda Boots. Namanda Boots. Namanda Boots. Namanda Boots. Hello. This is the service when we celebrate the November Shotsuki service. This is when we remember all those who have been born into the Pure Land in the month of November. Please join me in goshō as I read the names for those who've been born in the Pure Land in the month of November. And feel free to oshoko at your home obutsudan if you have a family member or a friend on this list. Teruko Sato, Tom Koshio, Anna Murihata, Misao Kagayama, Kenichiro Nishi, Kyo Tani, Kazuo Kimura, Yoshio Nigo, Mitsutaro Tawada, Gary Lee Higa, Martha Mizuno, Gladys Hirioka, Sunao Kinoshita, Kazuo Kimura, Nobuye Tsushima, Kichiro Akiyama, Betty Inamasu, James Inamasu, Isamu Sam Matsuda, Warren Fukuhara, Sally Nakata, Ron Matsushima, Janice Koshio, Scott Doeda. If there's anyone that has been mentioned on this list, please keep them in your mind. Join me in goshō and say, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Please join me in goshō as we read the Ryogemon in Japanese and its translation in English, the Creed. Moromoro no zōgyō zasshu, jiriki no kokoro wo furi suttee, isshin ni amida nyorai, warera ga kondo no ichidaiji no goshō, ontasuke sōrae to tanomu mōshite sōrō. Tanomu ichinen no toki, ojo ichijo ontasuke jijo to zonji, kono we no shōmyō wa gon hōsha to zonji, yorokobi moshi sōrō. Kono onkoto wari chōmon moshi wake sōrō koto, go kai-san shonen go shusei no goon, shidai sojo no zenjishiki no asakara zaru gonkanke no goon to arigataku zonji sōrō. Kono we wa sarame okaseiraruru on okite, ichigo wo kagiri mamori mosu beku sōrō. We rely upon Tathagata Amitabha with our whole hearts for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our powerless self. We believe in the assurance of our rebirth through his compassion comes at the very moment we rely upon him, and we call the name Namo Amida Butsu in happiness and with deepest gratitude. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and the succeeding masters who have led us to believe in this profound teaching. And we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. In goshō. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Hello, and welcome once again to the Tri-State Denver Buddhist Temple. And we're going to do the Dharma talk. And this is for the November Shotsuki service as well as the 2021 Eitaikyo service. So thank you so much for joining. And we're going to start off by goshō and reading from the Shōzō Matsu Wasan. So please join me in goshō. And this is Wasan 36. In the long night of ignorance, it is the torch, the wisdom eye in the darkness, yet do not sorrow. In the vast sea of birth and death, it is the raft. The hindrance of evil karma weighs heavy, yet do not grieve. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. It is the raft, Namanda Butsu. I love that. So it is a Eitaikyo service, Eitaikyo. And Eitaikyo can be translated a couple different ways. And so one way to translate it, and this is a very popular way, is perpetual memorial service. And another way to translate it is continuous chanting service, or acknowledgement of the continuous chanting and appreciation for the Buddhas. And so let's look at it both ways. Eitaikyo as perpetual memorial service. And I think one of the key things when we talk about a memorial service is we have to think about what is the point of a memorial service and why are we having it? So it's easy for us to want to have a memorial service for someone who has passed away, for someone who has died. And in doing a memorial service, we feel like we are doing something for that person who is no longer here with us. oh, I'm doing this because my friend died. I'm doing this because my spouse died. And I'm doing it for my spouse. But in the end, that person is dead and gone. Their birth in the Pure Land is already happened, and they are off doing the work of the Buddhas. And so when we are here in this land, in this place, when we do a memorial service, it is to remind us that that person has gone and been born in the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. That person has gone and been born in the Pure Land. We don't have to be worried. That raft has been crossed. That river is no longer there. Fire and water is no longer their concern. They have heard the call of their friend on this shore, Shakyamuni, and the call of the Buddha, Amida, and they are in that land. How lucky. Namo Amida Boots. And so in this Shozumatsu Wasan, we see the words, in the long night of ignorance, it is the torch. The long night of ignorance. That is translated from this phrase, mumyo joya. Mumyo joya. A long night of darkness. That literally is the continual state of us wandering around in ignorance in this world, not seeing what is happening. And one of the things about life is you can wander around for a very long time and not see what is happening. So, Eitaikyo, one of the ways that we celebrate it, especially here at Tri-State Denver Buddhist Temple and in BCA temples and Jodo Shinshu Honganji Ha temples across the world, is there's something called Eitaikyo scrolls. Eitaikyo scrolls. And I'm going to put a picture up right here on the other side of Amida. And that's a picture of one of our Eitaikyo scrolls from the 2020 Eitaikyo service happening, the 2019 Eitaikyo service. Oh, it's been a long couple years, huh? But this is from the 2019 Eitaikyo service. And if you look, there are a ton of names written on there. And that is an appreciation for all these people have done for the temple, and they have passed. And so this is names of people who have passed. This is names of people who have donated and who have helped the temple and helped spread Jodo Shinshu Buddhism in Colorado. And we are deeply appreciative of them. So I look over at that scroll, which is here on the screen, and I say, Arigatou gozaimasu. I am so thankful. Thank you so much. Gracias. And any other way I can say to say thank you, because they are helping perpetuate Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. And one of the important things is, if these people have died, they have also done an amazing thing to show Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, because when they die and we go to their service, what do we hear? We hear Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I know when I give a hoa, when I give a Dharma talk at a funeral, one of the things I say, they are now our great teacher. They have brought us all together. We are now hearing the Nembutsu. How lucky are we? And so we look at this long list, and we recognize this long life, and we think we are in the darkness, wandering through samsara, how long it is. And so I thought about this, and I was thinking, do you know what a perfect animal analog for samsara is? Do you know what animal, to me, I think represents our life? And that, ladies and gentlemen, that, friends out there, is this. And if you're looking at it and you don't know what it is, that's okay. It's not a super common animal. This is a geoduck clam. And geoducks are really interesting. And my grandparents grew up in Oregon and Washington, so I used to hear about geoducks when I was growing up. My great-grandparents, I know, used to go out and clamming for them all the time. Geoducks are a species of clam that are native to British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, and they are an interesting animal. A geoduck can live 120 plus years. Geoducks are very, very old. They're also one of the proportionally longest animals. So a geoduck can literally get like this long. It's a big clam. But geoducks kind of just sit there. They sit their entire lives buried in sand. They filter in and out microbacteria and microplants, and they eat them. They keep the water clean, and they're an important part of the ecosystem. So you should really check out geoducks. And the name geoduck is even a Native American name. And I believe it means, and if it's wrong, someone please put in the comments, but I do believe it means down deep. It's a deep dwelling clam. And so if you get a chance to walk through the beach area of Oregon and Washington, and you walk around, especially up near like Port Orchard or Astoria or any of those areas on the beaches where it's nice and cold, kind of in even towards the estuary areas, you may notice these little bubbles coming out. And a lot of the times those might be geoducks. In fact, if you step down, you might see a little water spurt out. That might be a geoduck clam. And these clams are important, but they are down there. They are in the dirt, and they don't see the light always. And so it is easy for us to be the geoduck. It is easy for us to hide ourselves from loss. It is easy for us to bury our heads and live a very long life, and probably a very happy life, without confronting the most important of the most important. And so on a day like this, on Eitaikyo, on the day where we think about all that has come and all that has gone, the perpetual gratitude we have for the Buddhas and the perpetual gratitude we have for those that have come before us, we consider the geoduck. We consider this very long clam. And so the second line of the Shozumatsu Wasan says, "The wisdom eye is in the darkness, yet do not sorrow. In the vast sea of birth and death, it is the raft." So even though we are like the geoduck, we are like the clam, buried under the water, under the sand, deep down where it's hard to find, in the long night of ignorance, we hear the calling of the Buddha. We hear Amida from the other shore. We hear Namo Amida Butsu coming to us from our hole in the sand. And unlike the geoduck, we have the ability to respond in gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. And though we feel the sand weigh heavy on us, though we feel the things which come in our way, though we feel the loss of others, though we feel that we cannot control riding over us, the hindrance of the evil karma weighs heavy. That hindrance of the evil karma which is on top of us weighs heavy on top of us, yet do not grieve, because Namo Amida Butsu is there for you. Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Since the primal vow is the torch, and the light through the long night of ignorance, do not grieve over the blindness of the eye to wisdom, since the vow is the ship and the raft is the vast sea of samsara. Do not grieve over the gravity of wrongdoings. Even if we are the clam, the very, very long-lived clam, we are embraced. And so we look at this list of people from Eitaikyo, and we think about all those that come before us, and we think, you know, they did great things, but they also did not so great things. They weren't great people. So we look at them in their incarnate form, in their form that was here in samsara, and we say, yeah, you know, solid dude, not bad. But when we look at them as those that have passed before us, in the fact that we may have gone to their funerals or that we're remembering them today, and that coming to temple, coming to YouTube even, and we're hearing about this and we're hearing their name, we have to think about them as our great teachers. They inspire us to perpetually chant the sutra and to say the name that is our liberation from samsara. That is to say, Namo Amida Butsu. Eitaikyo is a great day. It's a good reason to say Namo Amida Butsu. It's a good reason to be cognizant. So as we move forward in November, and in December, as the sun sets early, and as we may not be able to go on vacation, let us contemplate our life like a clam. Let us contemplate the fact that even though we're buried under the sand, the calling voice, the light that penetrates all, The existence that we are lucky to live is always within the grasp of Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. And no matter what is going on in the next couple months, next couple years, and the rest of your life, you are always within Amida's grasp. So thank you everyone that came today for this service. Thank you for coming once again to the Tri-State Denver Buddhist Temple's YouTube channel. And thank you for, once again, hearing how an animal can relate to Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. If you could please join me in goshō, we will read once again from the Shozumatsu Wasan, Shinran's hymns on the last Dharma age. In the long night of ignorance, it is the torch. The wisdom eye is in the darkness, yet do not sorrow. In the vast sea of birth and death, it is the raft. The hindrance of evil karma weighs heavy, yet do not grieve. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu.